If you're planning your first Alaska cruise, you are in the perfect spot. There are so many things we didn't know that we do know now, and we want to share them with you, like planning the perfect excursion, what to pack, what the weather is going to be like, what to do at port, what to do on the ship. We're covering them all. Let's get to it. Let's rock. Now, the first thing I wish we would have planned a little bit better was the packing situation.
Yeah, I wish we would have planned a little bit better too with that.
Yeah, we both brought 2 big check bags because, you know, you see the videos of other Alaska cruises, people are bundled up, the weather looks crazy.
Is there gonna be a blizzard?
You don't know. So the bottom line is, all of that is not very necessary. We went in May, and as a guy, all you really need is a few essential things. You need some jeans, you need a long sleeve shirt, a quarter zip that you can take off if you need to, and some type of raincoat or a puffy jacket. That's what I wore, and I was fine. The temperature was about 50 degrees during the day on some of our excursions, and that was great. Also, you're gonna wanna bring a beanie just because it keeps your head warm and you don't know what the weather's gonna be like. But make sure you have some type of jacket that has a hood, because you are going to run into some rain. And what about you?
Well, you know, I'm gonna have to say for sure, do a checklist because I accidentally forgot my traction, you know, tennis shoes. So you could see from one of the videos, I just had boots that didn't have traction. So
she wore boots with the fur.
They were nice, warm UGG boots. Like I said,
apple bottom jeans boots. She wore the boots with the fur.
With the fur.
On a hike to a waterfall.
And well, luckily I have a big man that I just held onto his arm the whole way. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the most comfortable for a mile hike.
Yeah, she was a trooper. She made it. We saw the waterfall and it was amazing. But yeah, you don't need to get overboard on the packing. You could just bring the essentials and you'll be fine. It's not that cold. It's in the mid 50s during the day. At night it does get a little colder, but on the ship it's climate controlled. So I didn't bring shorts on this trip. Next Alaska cruise, I will be bringing shorts because it gets warm on the cruise ship.
It was hot on there because they keep the retractable roof closed on the ship that we were on. Had one of those. They keep it closed and they keep the heat going. So I was practically sweating myself, and luckily I had short sleeve shirts, and you know, I ended up wearing those mostly on the ship because I didn't need a jacket on the ship at all.
Exactly. The other thing you want to be prepared for is the time difference. Now, if you're coming from the East Coast and going to Alaska, there's going to be about a 4-hour time difference. We're on the West Coast, so it was about an hour different, but we had to get on a plane, go to Seattle, get on a ship, and then all of a sudden they said turn your clock back 1 hour. So it gets kind of confusing. And not only that, what about the light and darkness?
Yeah, sunrise was about 4 in the morning and sunset was like at 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah, so it started going down about 9:30 and it was dark. Yeah, it wasn't dark till 10.
Yes, it was very interesting and fun at the same time, I guess.
Yeah.
You felt like, should you stay awake?
Yeah, exactly. So it does take a couple of days when you're on the ship to get used to what's going on. So just keep that in mind, that there's going to be a time difference and it takes a couple of days to get used to.
Another tip that you should be aware of are the port times. When you get to port, you know, you may want to get off maybe within the first hour of port time because...
Excuse me?
Because...
What'd you say?
Get off the ship. Be sure to review the itinerary before you get on the ship so that you can see how many hours you're going to be at each port and plan accordingly. I know a lot of people like to book their excursions through the ship so that for sure they get back on the ship, but then there's tons of people that may like to do it on their own. All I'm saying is that just plan accordingly. Some of the ports you're there for 7 hours, and some of the ports you're there for 4 hours that we went to, and the times are odd, especially Victoria, for instance. For us, I think you could get off the ship, it was like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night, but you had to be back to the ship at midnight.
Yeah, we literally had 2.5 hours because we had, once you're in town, you have to, you know, it takes 30 minutes to get back. So
yeah,
we had to leave at 11:30. And while I'm thinking of that, When you get off the ship in Victoria, they're gonna offer you a shuttle that takes you. It's like a big bus that takes you to town and back. I think Yeah, I think it was $15 per person round trip is what it was. And we're like, oh, we'll just walk it. They said it would only take us about 10 or 15 minutes to get there.
Yeah, one of the locals lied because it takes like 30 minutes to get there if you walk. Okay, not 10 or 15 minutes. That was. Take the shuttle.
Yeah, so
that's a big tip.
The reason we're telling you to take the shuttle is because we got there, no problem. The walk wasn't that bad, but we started looking at the clock. We're like, oh no, we only have like 45 minutes to get back, and we're starting to like stress out because we're thinking we're having to walk back. Try to get an Uber, that wasn't working out. We saw one of the buses across the street coming to pick people up, so we ran over there, and we wanted to jump on the bus. That was the round trip bus. Now, what happened was they charged us $10 a piece. So it was $20 to get back. So if you're gonna go to town, just get on that bus. It goes there and back, one price round trip. But make sure you get off the ship in Victoria. It's amazing.
Yeah, and remember to plan your port times accordingly.
Another thing you want to plan for is shore excursions. Now, shore excursions in Alaska are expensive. They are expensive.
Bring some dudes.
So make sure that you are saving and you have enough cash to do these excursions, because the average excursion is probably $300, I would say. If you want to do one of the huge ones where you take a helicopter or glaciers and stuff like that, it's about $500 or $600 per person. So there are some excursions you can do for $150, maybe $200, but just keep that in mind. Make sure you plan ahead for those high-ticket excursions. But it's not always necessary to do an excursion. We had a great time, and we went to Skagway, Ketchikan, and JUNEAU, and we had an awesome time. We did, a semi-excursion to Mendenhall Glacier. You can watch those videos. We'll put a link in the description below. And we did it for, I don't know, probably the whole day cost us about $100 or so. So
yeah, I think we did good.
There are different options, but if you want to do, some people have, once in a lifetime, I need to do this excursion, which is great. Go ahead and do it if you can afford it, but just keep in mind it's going to be a lot more expensive than it is when you go on a normal cruise to the Caribbean or something like that.
Oh yeah, and you think, ooh, I'm going to have those Alaskan crab legs. Plan on spending like $100 for a pound, okay? It's like out of control. Should you wait and come home to get it at Costco? I don't know.
Another thing that I was quite surprised about, and be prepared for it, is that at night the ship is so quiet.
Oh my God. It is not your typical carnival party vibe at all.
Yeah, the first couple nights we actually thought, oh wow, this cruise is about 25% full. That's what we thought. We're not even kidding. The casino would be packed, people would be gambling, but anywhere else you walked, it was crickets, right? Except the club. The club was loud and people were dancing. There was only like maybe 15 people in there. So we thought the place was empty, but it wasn't. The cruise was at capacity. People are more on the relaxed vibe, and they want to do those long excursions, go hiking and stuff. So everything is just a little bit more chill, which was actually refreshing. After the first couple of days, we're like, oh, this is cool.
After, the shock of the first day and a half for us, I was like, where are all the people?
Yeah, everyone's just more...
I felt like I had my own ship.
Yeah,
myself.
It did feel like that. Everyone's just a little bit more relaxed, which is cool. So you might expect that going to Alaska cruise. We thought it'd be the same thing as all of our other cruises that we've been on Carnival. That was going to be, non-stop party the whole time. It's just not like that, and it was a refreshing change.
Yes, it was. After the second day, and then going to the spa and doing all those things, I was like, ooh, I do like how relaxed I feel. All right, this is a big one, okay? For all you people that like to gamble, you might be in a big shock for the last night.
Yes, we learned this the hard way. Now, our last stop of the trip was the night before we were getting off the ship. We were stopped in Victoria, BC, and we made a big mistake because the ship was going to be at port from 8 p.m. to midnight. So we figured, okay, we'll get back on the ship about midnight. We'll hit the casino, get some of our free drinks. We'll cash out those tickets we got. We'll gamble for a couple hours. And we rolled into the casino and...
dead. Oh, sorry, the casino is closed.
Completely closed, so...
Oh my God, what? Have you ever heard of such a thing?
Thank God they have those machines where you can put your ticket in and get your money back, the cash. That's what we did. I'm sorry, not the tickets. It's on your card. We just put our card in the ATM machine and gave us our cash back that was on the card. But there was no warning. No one told us, hey, the casino's going to be closed the last night. I don't remember. We didn't get any
No, and there was no employees in there except for the people vacuuming.
Yeah, they said, no, it's closed tonight. So... Check your itinerary. If you're going to be in Victoria the last night, I'm going to say the casino's not going to be open. So make sure you take care of your getting all your cash back and all that.
Get your gambling
2 nights
on.
before.
Yes, a couple nights before.
Yeah. Check that schedule. Now here's another tip that most people probably aren't talking about, but we took the leap, and on this trip we did not get the Wi-Fi package.
No, we got a new type of package that works on ships.
We did. We used a service which is a virtual SIM card that you put in your phone, and we were able to use our phones just like we would if we had the internet package, and we did it for about 75% less than what the Wi-Fi was going to cost on the ship.
Yeah, we saved some dig there.
Yeah, the cool thing was that we could share our service, so I could use my phone as a hotspot. She could log into the internet off my phone, and we were watching a video in our cabin. You do need to keep your eye on how many gigs you're using. It depends on how many you buy. Then because if you watch video, it goes fast. We had to up the gigs while we were on the trip, but still, even after upping the gigs,
and it enabled us to be able to post shorts and stuff while we were out at sea, which was so great.
I used my phone just like I would if I had the Wi-Fi package on a ship, and it was eSIM. So we'll put the link in the description for the company that we use. They are called GigSky.
Yeah, and we'll be able to get you a little discount if you use our link.
And they actually have an option if you just want to try the service. I think it's 200 megabytes. You can just try the service out for free. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can see that once you hook up your phone, it works just like it would on the ship.
Yes, in your cabin, anywhere on the ship.
So go to the website, check it out. I'll leave the link in the description and grab that discount. And especially if you're going to be going on a cruise anywhere. It works on any cruise, by the way. All the different cruise ships it works with. So it's not just an Alaskan cruise. So check it out. We'll put the link below. All right, now we're going to talk about the things that you have to do when you're on your Alaskan cruise. There are things that we did, and there's stuff that you just got to do. They were so fun. We want to share them with you. The first thing is, when you're in Ketchikan, do not miss the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show. Now, it is kind of corny, the jokes and stuff like that, but don't worry about it. It's very entertaining. They kind of make fun of themselves. There's a lot of action. You can't believe the things they're doing. And when we went to the show, it was sprinkling, and they were still climbing up the tree. They were doing everything that they would do if it was a sunny day. It seemed quite dangerous, but they made it all the more exciting, so don't miss that. We'll put a link below if you want to go to that show. You can check it out.
And these are some hunky men right there. I mean, these are manly men. I mean, geez, those axes.
Okay.
Another thing you definitely don't want to miss when you're in Juneau is Nugget Falls.
Yes, do not miss this. Now, Nugget Falls is going to be when you go to Mendenhall Glacier. When you get to the glacier, there's actually a little trail that you got to take that gets you down to Nugget Falls, which is a waterfall. I'll show you a little bit of it right here. It's about a 25-minute walk to get from Mendenhall Glacier to Nugget Falls. It's a beautiful trail. There's lots of obvious nature, and it's paved. It's not like a dirt road or anything, so it's really easy to walk. Melissa did it in her boots with the fur, as we mentioned before. But just make sure you take the walk to Nugget Falls. It's breathtaking. I literally lost my breath. I was looking up when I had the camera up, and I watched the footage back. It doesn't capture what I was feeling because you're looking up, it looks like the waterfall's coming right down on you, and it's just something you don't want to miss.
It's the widest waterfall I've ever been next to in my entire life. I just was like, holy moly, this is just pouring out of the earth. It's so crazy.
It's really cool. So get to Mendenhall Glacier, take the walking trail at Nugget Falls. Don't miss it. Well, we loved every minute of our Alaskan cruise. We know you're going to as well. Thank you for being here. I hope the video is helpful. Anything we talked about today, all the links are in the description. So if you want to check out the Lumberjack Show, GigSky, anything, go to the description below. But we are going to be very, very busy over the next 4 or 5 months.
We are.
We have a ton of cruises planned, and you know we've done a lot of Carnival cruises on this channel, which we love Carnival, but we're adding another cruise line to our repertoire.
Yes, we are. It's the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. We are so excited to go on some new ships and give all of you those reviews.
More tips and tricks coming for Royal Caribbean. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for being here, but we'll see you on the next one. Remember to always keep
rocking the boat, baby.
Rock the boat.